We are, we are so alive. Welcome, 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 everybody. Yes, it's that time of the week again. It's Transformation Tuesday. Let's take a deep breath into what that means. And put your feet on the ground, and we're grounding ourselves in this moment, this holy moment, where we are alive and so privileged to be living in this time. Transformation Tuesday is an offshoot of Paradigm Shifters. And Paradigm Shifters, we are a dedicated global community dedicated to shift and uplift the entire planet. Right, Stephanie?
That's right.
I mean, you've been with us from the beginning, and we've shifted so much. When one shifts, we all shift. And we started out in March 2020, and we've been coming every Tuesday since then, with topics and folks that I know to, get a reading on what's happening out there in the planet, and what tools we can do and decisions. So so let's take another deep breath in while I catch my breath a little bit. And in October 2024, the topic and the book that we are talking about is The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. What a topic. What a book. And last week, just to catch people up, if you didn't watch last week, it was the introduction. And the quote from last week that really had me chewing on all week long was, indecision is a decision of the individual. Indecision is actually an individual's deciding to fail. And that got me spinning around like, all this week when I was spinning in circles, like, wait a minute, what am I deciding right here, right now? So that brings us to this week's topic, and this is from chapter 4 of the book, Decide to be happy. Decide to be happy. And there's so many good quotes from here too. And but before that, I want to introduce you to our guest speaker. Drumroll, please. Stephanie Puente from Crested Butte, Colorado, who's a lifelong friend of mine for 25 plus years. And I've watched Stephanie make decision after decision after decision, not only for yourself and your family and those beautiful daughters of yours, and you're constantly on the cusp of green growing edges. So let me tell everybody here about Stephanie Puente. Now, Stephanie is the president of CoreFactor Transformative Coaching and is a certified life mastery consultant and transformation expert. Claim it, Stephanie, right? For the past decade, Stephanie has been dedicated to helping individuals discover their authentic life paths and live lives they truly love. So in addition to her coaching practice, Stephanie has served as a trainer for the Brave Thinking Institute, where she has guided and empowered new coaches on their certification journeys. With 10 years of coaching experience and nearly 3 decades of study in personal development and transformational principles, Stephanie has a deep understanding what it takes to turn dreams to reality. Her mission is to help people realize their highest potential and create lives filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. So Stephanie has delivered over 100 presentations to organizations, businesses, and groups worldwide, helping them clarify their goals and vision while teaching essential strategies to accelerate their growth. And if that wasn't enough, here we go. I love your personal career. It includes 2 decades of experiencing in marketing, communications, and event planning. She's worked with the Four Seasons Hotel in New York City, Christie's Great Estates in Santa Fe, which is an international law firm. Oh, and an international law firm in Washington, D.C., and an award-winning children's music school in Austin, Texas, where I know your experience there very well. She earned her bachelor's degree in liberal arts from the University of Texas at Austin, and regularly participates in advanced training with Brave Thinking Institute. Stephanie has been happily married to her husband, Sebastian, for 26 years, and they have 2 daughters, Sophia and Paloma, and Dash, the new member. And I know Dash is sitting right there, right?
He was, but then he ran out because he hears things and he starts barking. So I didn't want him to bark in the office. So he leaves in here with me.
We know Dash. All right. So we're gonna turn this over, and we're talking about that chapter, Decide to Be Happy. One of the quotes that came out from that book is, happiness is not a constant, but satisfaction can be. So I'm going to turn this over to you, and it's all yours, Stephanie, and I'll interrupt when I need to. Go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you, Judy. Thank you so much. It is such a joy and an honor and a privilege to get to be here with you, to be with all of this amazing community that you have created through all of your teaching and all of your love and your passion to shift and uplift the planet. And I just feel so grateful and honored to know you and to be a part of this community with you and to be here today in service of your mission. And all of our mission, really, to shift and uplift the planet. So thank you so much. And it is such an honor to talk about this book, The Power of Decision and Deciding to Be Happy. And, for so much of my life, from the outside looking in, you would think, that, oh, I have it all together, but I've lived with a lot of angst because inside there was just this deep fear of really connecting with others. And from an early age, making a decision that I wasn't going to have needs. I wasn't going to need people. It wasn't safe for me to really open up and love. And over time, I developed a lot of needs to have perfectionism and people pleasing and constantly looking outside of me for indication on, am I safe? Am I okay? Always looking to the outside to give me what I felt like I couldn't give myself, or somehow I was going to be out of control in some way if I let myself really love and really be happy. And that has been a long journey of recognizing at the core of everything was this deep desire to connect, to love, and to be engaged with life. But for the longest time, I felt like I can't really be me. And it has been a journey of this work, this path that we have been on to discover that what is within me is more, that I am more than my thoughts. For so long, identifying with those thoughts and letting those thoughts run me, to being able to notice what I was noticing, pause, and work with my breathing to be able to separate from those thought trains, those thought patterns, and recognize that I am more than this. And being able to make decisions independently from those thoughts, from those beliefs that I was just living in for so much of my life. And so that has been the journey and has continued to be the journey of noticing those patterns that caused me to constantly look outside myself versus this awareness of the power within us, and learning how to really connect into that life that is breathing us, and also a deep desire to be present for my life. But for so much of the time, I wasn't present because I was always worrying, always trying to control things, and inside just missing out on important moments because internally there was a lot of angst and rehearsing what had happened or worrying about what was going to happen. So, in a nutshell, that has been a good part of my journey. And through this work, and the recognition and the awareness of all of the things that we study to connect to who it is that I really am, and learn how to love myself, and also love myself, as we say, with the capital S, that power that is breathing me. And so this book on the power of decision, learning how to cut away, as we know in our work, to decide means to cut away everything that is unlike what it is that we are deciding for. And so around this theme of deciding to be happy, and the quote that you mentioned, it's not a constant, but satisfaction is. And I love that. And some of the key things that I really love from this particular chapter is the recognition that happiness is within us, that we have been endowed with these creative capacities, that we are spirit having a human experience. And more, that brings me such comfort and such joy to be able to raise my awareness to the truth of who I am, that I am the infinite expressing as Stephanie. You are the infinite expressing as Judy. And that we have been endowed with happiness. It is within us. And all that's required is our recognition of that and the decision that I am going to be happy. And for so long, I would feel stopped in that, or I would struggle with that because, well, but I don't feel happy. So how can I really be decided if I don't feel happy? But just deciding that it's there and it's within me. And he talks about, I am activating it now.
Right.
I can, that sends a signal to my conscious and my subconscious mind that I am open and available now to see some things in a new way. And even if we go through circumstances in life, like, transitioning to be older, or kids growing up and moving out of the house, or, you know, the transitions that we face in life as humans, even though there may be all kinds of feelings that we go through because we are humans navigating life, that there can be a sense of satisfaction in the feelings of what life brings, and being present for all that life has to offer.
So one
Uh,
of the things that I know that, well, I don't know, but I've watched you personally with making the decisions, and then the fear that comes, like, oh, I'm going to decide to go through my vision, and or just with circumstances happening. And I know you live in beautiful Crested Butte, Colorado, and there's times that blizzards come. And how do you maneuver that in the environment where you are, no matter where you are? What tools have you used personally to get you centered in that decision without, I mean, life-threatening things are happening around the world right now. Is it, how do we just, what is something that you practice that you can give us? I just love it, and I know there's so many quotes in this book, and I want to, like, how do you do that?
well, thank you. I think one of the greatest um, learning experiences I've had is that this idea that we can have our feelings without our feelings having us. So when I am faced with something that feels scary to me, like driving out in the blizzard, or things happening in the news, or facing the fear to go and take that next bold step in the business. In the past, when I had the fear, I just allowed it to overtake me. Or I identified with the beliefs and I just believed, I just allowed those fear thoughts to run me. But I've learned that as I feel the fear and I do it anyway, that I can do the things that I want to do, have the fear right along with me, reminding myself that this is an indication that I am growing. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. And I can put an arm around that fear and sit down and do it anyway, whatever that thing is. And it's in the taking of the action, even when I'm afraid. It's been my experience that that's how the fear gets transformed. And I get in touch with that greater part of me that is more. And it's only in the facing of the fear and taking the action that I discover that moreness. Because in the past, I just let the fear overtake me, and I just believe like I guess I'm just not capable of being a good driver, or doing that next bold move in my vocation. And so that fear, that resistance, I've recognized. I've learned to be able to appreciate it and see it as a requirement to help me grow in strength. Just like when you lift a 5 pound arm weight, that arm weight is required so that you can have the muscle. The fear, the resistance, the doubt, the worry is like the muscle that I'm lifting, or the weight that I'm lifting. As I take that action anyway and I face the fear, that's how I grow in strength, grow in the recognition of the power within me can.
Oh, amen.
So
Amen.
that so,
So
so
is
that that's what's
I
helped.
know that, and that there's, I know like there's so many things in this chapter, but one of the things that I have underlined, or you probably do too, is once you decide that you will be happy, then you need to state that you are happy now. And
Yes.
I always like just that thing, okay, well, I can be happy when, right now, I can be happy when that hurricane blows away from Florida and I know that my kids are safe. That's, the circumstance, level of fact. And then this is so perfect. It's like, okay, state that I can and I must be happy now. Otherwise, I'm going to put that energy out there of fear, doubt, worry. So if you know, sometimes it doesn't seem, how can I be happy now when the world's falling apart? So anyway,
Right.
I just thought I would throw that one in there.
Yes, yes. And I think that's an alignment. He talks about that most of us are looking outside to be happy. They want to change. He says people want a change of events, situations, conditions, and people, but they don't want to change themselves. They want a rearrangement of the facts, but dodge the concept of a rearrangement of ideas within. And so, even though the hurricane is going on, that just by means of working with our thinking to focus on the good, find the good, celebrate what is working well, find the progress, focus on love. So, in those moments when circumstances and facts are really scary, it's not that we're denying the facts and the conditions, but we're denying those facts and conditions to get inside of us and cause us to feel constricted. So we can practice focusing on love, joy, hope, encouragement in the midst of those things. And as we change our consciousness, we open up to steps and opportunities that are here for us to serve what's in front of us. So even though we may not prefer those circumstances, we can find, satisfaction by turning our attention in these ways to love, hope, joy. Um, and he goes on, to talk about a change of consciousness is required, that our mind is the cause of our world of effects, that the outer world is a reflection of our thinking. And not that we're responsible for the hurricane and all the many things that are going on in the world, but we are responsible for how we're going to relate to it. And we can decide to be happy and look for the good so that we can face those things from a more empowered place. And it's
Man,
a practice.
yeah,
It's
it's rigor.
it can be a rigorous practice, but there's satisfaction that comes with that because we can be present as opposed to be living in that constricted state.
I love it. I love that, that rigor word. It's like there's some kind of an addiction to unhappiness. I could go out and find a whole group of people who are going to be unhappy and fearful that I can get in there, and somehow that feels comfortable. And then it takes this rigor to like, whoop, wait a minute. I've got these partners in believing. I've got this. Yeah. Anyway, I to tell me more about that. How you've surrounded yourself and Sebastian and your daughters. How that's been rigorous over the years to come back into that, satisfaction and what would I love next?
Yes. Yes, I think it's so important that we've heard in this work, if we argue for our limitations, if we argue for the negative conditions and the complaining and the criticizing, we will have more of it because in this book he talks about our thoughts are creative and that our thoughts attract more of the thought that it is. And so that is the one thing that we have control over is what am I giving my attention to? And he talks in this chapter about how we have the power to direct our attention. We have the power to choose what we're going to focus on, and that we've been trained sometimes to surround ourselves with people, that have that kind of thinking. But as we get in touch with that awareness that our thoughts are powerful, that we get to create an experience and design what it is that we would love, we can decide to cut away those things that aren't a match to who it is that we're being and what it is that we're creating. And it is so critical to surround ourselves with like-minded, supported people who are going where it is that we want to go versus, reflecting from the past and that we can also feel a sense of compassion, for everyone, because everyone is on their own journey of awareness, and that we can feel a sense of we can decide to be compassionate
Yeah.
in the presence of those people and send them love. But it's definitely been a journey of welcoming in like-minded people that support me and that support us so that we can continue to discover more of ourselves as we keep taking bold steps in growth.
You know what I really love that you've been on this path for many, many years, and that as a parent, I always go back to this parent thing, like at the level of what 2024, your daughters are, if that's okay with you, they're abroad and you have a student living with you, and that the rigor is possibly different than it was a year ago, but you've built up these spiritual practices. So can you tell us at the level of where you are now in Crested Butte and everything, where what it is that you are like maybe affirming or maybe or out there on your hikes, where's it that you're getting grounded in your personal happiness?
Well, even, I mean, as an example, yes, while Paloma is away, it's common for fears to come in, worries to come in, but I turn my attention to. I'm so proud of her. I'm so grateful that she's having this experience. One of my deep desires has always been, in recovery work we talk about live and let live. And how is it that I can live and be my authentic self and let others be where they are, doing what they're doing, and be happy in that? And so I continue to have different kinds of fears come up. And when those do, I'm getting better and better at pausing, changing my breathing, and then just turning to gratitude for the opportunities, that both my daughters have. That helps me on a daily basis. And with our student right now, worrying, how's he gonna, is he gonna like our food? Is he gonna like the lifestyle that we have? And when those things come up, I do that rigorous work of pausing, changing my breathing, and just affirming I love myself and I love who I am. And I'm so grateful that he's here, and I'm going to be my authentic self. And I want to be present for this experience and surrender the outcome, whatever he's meant to learn and experience. But I want to bring my very best and allow myself, to be present, to love, and surrender, trying to control the situation. So in essence, living and let living. And what supports me in that is that decision. I choose to be happy today. I choose to focus on the good. And I think it's really important. And I'd love to share one passage, that I think is a rigorous practice, but it's on page 101,
Okay.
where he goes into a course of action. And he says, stop all complaining. Stop telling others of your unhappiness. Find things to praise. Start seeking the good points in your relatives, friends, and coworkers. There are some good points in these people ready and waiting for you to find them. When you are asked how you feel, tell a spiritual truth, though it may be a factual lie. I may not feel good, but answer that you feel great. You never felt better. Watch your conversations, and whenever you start in with negatives, change at once to creative and interesting ideas. Your spoken word has power. Use it to produce what you want by not discussing what you don't want. And you do not want unhappiness anymore. You have finished with it, and it is finishing its course in you. And I love that, because I think for many of us, we're like, well, I don't feel it. So, but just deciding and then living into that, is a practice. And that just by claiming it, it opens me up to begin to receive and see new things that welcome what he's suggesting. And I think just that little paragraph could be a great design for living, that can help us live in alignment with what it is that we are calling in all areas of our life, as we work with ourselves to live at that state. And that even if we may not feel happy, we feel a sense of satisfaction that we're living in that way. So I think that's a powerful paragraph that we could practice as a course of action in living into the decision to be happy.
This is so beautiful. And you know what I would really love, and this is on page 101 from the book, I would really love, Stephanie, if you would repeat that whole paragraph, because
Yes.
I feel that that paragraph is the action step that we want, that I would love to get out there. And oh, talk about rigor there, to stop complaining. But I would love to have you repeat that. And then I have something special to tie this all together, but bam. So would you please do that?
Yes, I would love to. And if I may, in essence, what I think that Raymond Charles Barker is talking about in this particular section is that it is an inside job, that as we change our inner state, the outer world, rearranges itself, because already life is reflecting who it is that we are thinking and being and acting from. And that is where our power is, and what we give our attention to, what we choose to focus on. Where our attention goes, energy flows. And that as we do this inner work, our outer world becomes a reflection of that. So it starts first as an inner decision. Happiness is within me. I've been endowed with it. And I am the infinite, expressing as Stephanie. I am more than all of my conditions, my old patterns, my old ideas. So as I claim that, here's how I can begin to practice living into it. So he's inviting us to stop all complaining. Stop telling others of your unhappiness. And not that we're bad people, that we talk about this, but just that we're going to decide to put our attention elsewhere. That's what I think he's saying. So we can be loving with ourselves as we say, hey, stop telling others of your unhappiness. Find things to praise. Start seeking the good points in these people. Wait, let's see. Start seeking the good points in your relatives, your friends, your coworkers. That's a rigorous thing. It can be. There are some good points in these people ready and waiting for you to find them. When you are asked how you feel, tell a spiritual truth. And that, I suggest, means that we are spirit, and spirit is perfect. Within spirit, there is no constriction. Spirit is all expansive. So we can claim that spiritual truth, that we feel great, even though at the level of fact, it may be a lie. Answer that you feel great. You never felt better. Watch your conversations. And whenever you start in with negatives, pause. I'm adding in pause, change your breathing, and then change at once to creative and interesting ideas. Your spoken word is power. Use it to produce what you want by not discussing what it is that you don't want. And you do not want unhappiness anymore. You have finished with it, and it is finishing its course with you. And I love that. Even though I may not feel it, I'm claiming it is so. So thank you for allowing me to reread that passage.
I just felt like that is one of those boop light bulb moments. And so let's take a deep breath in here. Yeah. And in this moment, right here, right now, wherever you are, decide to be happy. Claim it. Yeah. So what I would love to do, yes, well, first of all, I would love to, put a shower of appreciation on Stephanie Puente and everything that you've done and continue to do in this world where you're bringing about truth. And we're going to put a blessing on you, Stephanie. You ready to catch it?
Yes.
Okay. And all your endeavors. What would you love to have us hold for you, Stephanie, in a sentence or two, for you and your work in the world? What would you love? And then we're going to get our energy going here while you do that.
Thank you, Judy. I would love for you to hold that those people that have been really struggling with perfectionism, people pleasing, always looking outside of themselves for permission, really having harsh, critical thinking, doubt, having kind of run that in their life, and they are ready to feel a greater sense of peace and ease and feeling ready to live authentically and feeling a recognition that they are supported by life. I would love for those people to find me with ease so that I can help them discover the power within them and really unlock all that is available by means of them taking steps to build their dreams. So I'd love for you to hold it.
I'm going to add something here. I have a feeling that you have something called a powerful you coming up. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. I have a webinar coming up on October the 23rd, Wednesday, October the 23rd at 12 Central. And it's called the Powerful You webinar, helping people to discover and live life from their point of power within.
Yeah, we'll put that down in there. I like, oh, that's right.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, exactly what we're talking about today. So we're going to put this energy and we're going to send it to you. And please know that we love you. We appreciate you. We see the God in you, the Spirit in you. Whew. Got it?
I got it. So much.
All right, I want to end with a poem about happiness. And it's called Decide to Be Happy. And so take a deep breath in and just let the words of this sink in wherever you are. In the morning light, I choose to rise, to greet the day with open eyes. With every breath, I take a stand, embracing joy like grains of sand. The clouds may linger, the storms may roar, but within my heart, I'll seek for more. With laughter's echo and love's embrace, I decide to dance in life's sweet grace. For happiness blooms where intentions lie, a gentle whisper, a hopeful sigh. So here I am with an open heart, choosing joy, a beautiful art. And with that, thank you so
Awesome.
much for being here. And what what a journey. Thanks, Stephanie. Thank
Thank you. Sending big love and hugs to all.
you. Amen.